Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Teacher Marge at ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon na ay kung paano mag-solve ng percent problems. Okay, so let's begin. Pag sinabing percent problems, ang kailangan muna nating maintindihan, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng salitang percent? Okay, percent. Actually, the word percent is made up of two words. Yung per at saka yung cent. Cent meaning 100 and per or sa Tagalog, kada, sa bawat means for every. So whenever we have a number which is given in percent, it's for every 100 or it's a ratio of a number for every 100. Okay? Now, if we want to write this in symbol, we can have, let's say, 40%. 40%. We have the symbol percent. Anong ibig sabihin ng 40%? This means we have 40 is to 100. So it's a ratio between a number and 100. Okay? So we can denote percent using this notation, yung ratio notation natin, or yung using the percent symbol. Okay? Any of the two will do whenever you are solving percent problems. Pero dito sa video na to, I will show you a solution that we will not make use of the percent symbol. So hindi tayo mag-change ng percent to decimals or decimals to percent. Okay? So let's have our prerequisite. Before you start solving any word problems involving percent, ano yung unang-unang dapat ninyong gawin? First and foremost, you need to identify three numbers, R, B, and P. What do we mean by R, B, and P? R refers to rate, B stands for base, and percentage is for letter P. Okay? So as you can see, yung first letters nila, yan yung kanilang, yan yung gagamitin natin sa equation natin. Now, among the three, ang pinakamadaling i-identify ninyo ay yung rate. Bakit? Kasi yung rate comes with the percent symbol. So any number with the percent symbol automatically is the rate. So hindi kayo pwedeng magkamali dyan. Kasi pag nakita na ninyo yung percent symbol, then yun ay rate. So halimbawa, meron sa problem ninyo, nakalagay doon, 15%. So dahil merong percent symbol, then that's the rate. Now, most students commit this mistake, particularly dun sa rate. Dahil dun sa percent symbol, ina-associate nila yan sa percentage, which should not be the case. Kasi yung percent is a ratio nga. So, it's rate. Okay, so yun ang tatandaan natin. Hindi siya percentage. Hindi ko mo binabasa natin to na percent at ito ay may salitang percent, sila yon. Mag-iisa sila. No. The symbol percent symbolizes a ratio between a number and 100. So, it's rate dahil na ratio siya. Next, pag na-identify na ninyo yung rate, ang susunod ninyong dapat i-identify ay yung base. Okay, that's the next thing to identify. Why? Kasi yung base, meron tayong clue words para sa base. We have the word of, total, and in some cases, yung phrase na in all. Okay? So, these phrases or these words, yung of, yung total, at saka yung phrase na in all, would tell you that the number that goes with it is the base. So, papaano yan? Halimbawa, yung of. Pag nakita ninyo yung of, yung kasunod na number niya, base yon. Okay? Yung total, whatever number that is being referred to as total is the base. Or kung wala yung word na total, it can be substituted by any word that would have the same meaning. Halimbawa, pwede sum. Okay, yung sum nun. Base yon. Okay? Yung in all, lahat-lahat. So it's also the base. Now, in some cases, halimbawa, yung mga problems ng percent of decrease and increase, kagaya ng discount, ng tax, okay? Base is the original number. Okay? Yun ang pinagmulan ng percentage at saka ng rate. So, base is the original number. Now, if you have already identified the rate and the base, then wala nang problema dun sa percentage because this is the third number. Okay? So, that's how you identify the rate, base, and percentage. So, let's have our first problem. Okay, our first problem is, what is 80% of 45? This is a one-liner question or a one-liner problem. Now, pag ganito, all you have to do is to identify the given. So let's list down here the given. Okay? Unahin natin yung rate and then base and then percentage. Okay, dahil yung rate ang pinakamadali, yun ang una nating identify. Ang usapan natin, yung rate has the percent symbol. So, dito sa problem natin, alin ang mayroong percent symbol? Yung 80%. So, this is the rate. So, dahil may percent symbol siya, lalagay natin siya dito. 80%. Okay? Next, the next number that you can see in our problem is 45. Ano ngayon ang nasa unahan ni 45? Meron clue word dun sa unahan ni 45, which is the word off. So that means 45, dahil meron siyang off, will be the base. So dito yan, 45. Now, ano ngayon ang percentage? So may 80, may 45. Ano ang percentage? Tignan natin yung problem. What is refers to the percentage. Yung what is na yan. Ibig sabihin, percentage is a number that is being asked of. So, lalagyan natin yan ng question mark. Okay, now, kumpleto na yung given natin, then it's time for us to solve the problem. To solve this problem, we will use ratio and proportion. Now, tandaan, ang percent problems, lahat ng percent problems ay direct proportion problem. Okay? So, we'll have now our working equation. P is to B equals R is to 100. Okay? So, as you can see, hindi tayo gumamit ng triangle method or yung pyramid method na yan. Okay? Ang gagamitin lang natin sa lahat ng problems na ipipresent ko sa inyo ay itong equation na ito. Okay? We have P is to B equals R is to 100. Now, P, percentage, B, base, and R, rate. Tapos, we'll have 100. I'll explain to you what is that 100 for. Now, punta tayo sa given natin, i-substitute natin yung values para dun sa P. Huwag nating ipilit. Kung walang nakalagay, then leave it at that. Now, we'll start off with P. P here, ito, P is a question mark yan. So, that is us. Meaning, it will remain as P. Okay? B, dun tayo, is 45. So, it's 45. And R, dito tayo, R. What is R? Hindi natin babaguhin ito. We'll stick to 80%. So, not like the usual triangle method or the usual way of solving percent problems na binabago ninyo yung rate, ginagawa ninyong decimal. This time, hindi natin gagawing decimal yan. Ang gagawin natin, kukunin lang natin yung number that goes with the percent symbol. So, that's 80. Okay, kunin natin yung 80, ipalit natin sa R. So, this is 80 is to 100. Okay, anong silbi ng 100 na yan? Actually, when you read this, kanina, di ba? This is 80 for every 100 or 80%. ito yung rate, 80%. Okay? So, sa formula natin na P is to B equals R is to 100, yung 100 is for the percent symbol. Okay? Now, since this is a proportion, we solve this like we look for the missing term in a proportion. We multiply the means and then we multiply the extremes. Now, to organize our solution, yung unknown ilalagay natin sa kaliwa. Okay? Ang unknown natin ay yung letter, which is P. So, P is multiplied to 100. We have P times 100, yung extremes, and then the means, 45 times 80. What is now 45 times 80? It's 3,600. And that is P times 100. Now, we solve now for P. Anong gagawin natin? Dahil yung P, may times 100 siya, to remove the 100, we should divide this number by 100. Okay, so kung ano man yung number na kasama o nakamultiply dun sa unknown ninyo, yun ang inyong magiging denominator. And whatever you do with the left side should also be done with the right side. So dahil nag-divide tayo by 100 sa kaliwa, magdi-divide din tayo ng 100 sa kanan. So, bakit kailangan natin yan? So we can cancel this out. 100 divided by 100 is 1 times P. That leaves us with P. So this is P equals 3,600 divided by 100 is 36. Okay? What is 80% of 45? The answer is 36. Yan yung ating sagot. So that's problem number 1. Our second problem is different from the first one. It says 12% of what number is 36. Okay? So, tignan natin kung bakit siya naiiba dun sa problem number 1. So, we start off with writing down the given. Rate, base, and percentage. Okay? So, rate. Hahanapin natin yung mayroong percent. Now, walang percent symbol dun sa problem, pero meron tayong word na percent. That means 12% is the rate. Okay? Now, that goes here. 12%. Next, we identify the base. Ang hinahanap natin sa base ay yung salitang off. So, nasaan yung salitang off? Ito yung off. Yung kasunod na off na number, yun ang ating base. So, dito, wala tayong nakikitang numeric value. Ang nakikita natin na phrase ay what number. So, that means our base is still unknown. So, hindi natin alam kung ano yung ating base. So, question mark yun. That leaves us with 36. At syempre, dahil may laman na yung rate, yung base natin, yung 36, pupunta na yan sa percentage. So, we'll have 36. So, this time, we will be solving for B. But we will not be changing our working equation. It would still be E is to B equals R is to 100. Okay, yun pa rin ang ating equation. Then we substitute these values na given natin dun sa ating working equation. What is P? It's 36. Ano yung B? That's question mark. So B pa rin yan. Ano yung R? That's 12. Okay, hindi natin kukunin yung percent symbol. Yung 12 lang. So 12 is to 100. Okay? And then we multiply the means and the extremes. Pag minultiply natin yan, ang tatandaan natin, they should be equal. Yung product ng means is equal to the product of the extremes. Now, alin dito ngayon ang merong variable? Alin ang merong unknown? Yung means natin. So, yun ang ilalagay natin dito. So, this will be B times 12. Yung means natin, at saka yung extremes natin. 36 times 100. Okay? Now, we solve for 36 times 100. That is 3,600. And B times 12, pareho pa rin yan. B times 12. Ngayon, this time, we need to cancel out 12. So, we divide both sides by 12. So, we could have 12 divided by 12 is 1 times B is B. And 3,600 divided by 12 is 300. Okay? 12% of what number is 36? The answer is 300. That's problem number 2. Let's move on to problem number 3. Okay. Problem number 3 says 56 is what percent of 200? Again, we start off by writing down the given rate, base, and percentage. Okay? Yung rate natin, ang clue natin, yan yung may percent. Okay? May percent. Nasaan yan? Ayun, ang percent. Ano ang kasama ni percent? Yung what. So, ibig sabihin, yung rate natin, yun ang nawawala. So, rate here is a question mark. That is what is missing. Now, next, we have 56. Kaso, yung 56, wala siyang off. Nasaan yung salitang off? Yung off natin ay nasa 200. Okay, that means yung base natin, which is next in line in identifying or in identifying the given, yung off 200, base is 200. That leaves us with 56 a percentage. Okay, 56. Again, we have our working equation. P is to B equals R is to 100. Then we substitute the values for R, B, and P. P, 56. B, 200. R is question mark, so it's still R, is to 100. Then we'll have product of the means and product of the extremes. And they should be equal. Now, yung R natin nasa means, so we'll have here R times 200 equals 56 times 100. Okay? Ngayon, tignan ninyo. 200 and R. I've written it as R times 200. Actually, wala namang problema yan. Kung R times 200 or 200 or 200 times R. Because multiplication is commutative. Ibig sabihin, the order of the factors does not affect its product. Okay, so kahit na alin man ang ayos ninyo, unahin ninyo sa R at saka sa 200, walang problema yan. It will still be the same. So we carry out this part, yung sa right side. 56 times 100 is 5,600. And that is R times 200. Solving for R, we divide each side by the same number, which is, in this case, is 200. Kasi yun ang kasama ni R. So divided by 200. Then, we'll cancel out 200. 200 divided by 200 is 1. Times R is R. Equals 5,600 divided by 200 is 28. Now, di pa tayo tapos. Why? Kasi R, as we all know, should have a percent symbol. Yung sagot natin, wala pang percent symbol. So, para maging tama yung ating sagot, since this is R, we need to put or place or write a percent symbol after 28. So, that's our final answer. So, that means 56 is 28% of 200. Okay, so as you can see, Hindi natin binago yung working equation natin. Yun pa rin ang ginagamit natin. P is to B equals R is to 100 and we solve for whatever is asked or kung ano man yung naka-question mark doon sa ating given. Okay, problem number 4 says, in a group of 120 people, 65% are girls. How many girls are in the group? Siyempre, ganun pa rin. We write down the given. We have the rate, base, and percentage. Okay? Now, what are the numbers available or given in the problem? First, we have 120. Tapos, meron tayong 65%. So, alin dyan ngayon yung rate? Kagaya ng sinabi ko, ang una ninyong i-identify ay yung rate because rate always goes with the symbol percent. So, dyan sa problem natin, alin yung may percent symbol? Ang may percent na symbol ay yung 65. Okay, so we write down here sa R, 65%. So, meron na tayong rate. Next, we identify the base. At ang clue word natin dyan ay yung salitang of 120 people. So, B is 120. Okay, so ang percentage natin, yung unknown. Now, double check ninyo ha, bago tayo mag-solve. Bago kayo mag-solve, siguraduhin ninyo na yung rate na ibinigay at saka yung itinatanong na percentage, pareho siya. Okay? Paanong pareho? Parehong number of girls. So, in this case, simple lang yung problem natin. Kasi binigay yung rate ng girls, itinatanong din yung percentage naman ng girls. So, let's solve this one using our working equation. P is to B equals R is to 100. Then we substitute for the values ng PRB. P, question mark, so that's P. Yung base natin, that's 120. Yung R natin, 65. Hindi natin kokopyahin yung percent symbol kasi meron na tayong 100. Then, kagaya ng mga nauna, we get the product of the means and the extremes. And these two products should always be equal. Okay, so ano ang nasa kaliwa natin? Yung may unknown. So this time, yung extremes natin. So it's P times 100 equals 120 times, hindi kita. Sorry. Okay. Times 65. It's 7,800. Okay? And that is P times 100. Okay? Now, we solve for P. We divide both sides by whatever is multiplied to the variable. That is 100. No? Sa kaso nito, it's 100. So we could cancel this out, leaving us with P. Okay. So P now is 7,800 divided by 100. And that is 78. Okay, ano yung 78? Kanina, hindi natin nilalagyan ng label yung P kasi puro numbers lang. Pero this time, dapat may label na yung ating 78. Ano nga yung 78 natin? How many, babalik tayo sa problem, how many girls? So, this should have girls as a label. Okay, yun ang label natin. So, in a group of 120 people, 65% are girls. How many are girls in the group? The answer is 78 girls. Okay, our fifth problem says a box contains 140 balls, 35% of which are red. How many are red? Now, before we try to write down the given, let's analyze first the problem. Okay, tignan natin. A box contains 140 balls. So may isang kahon, ang laman 140 balls. 35% of which refers to that 140 balls, and they are red. Okay, so 35% are red. How many are not red? So, kanina, ang sinabi ko sa inyo, doon sa problem natin ng girls, it's very important na yung rate na ibinigay, yun din yung percentage na itinatanong. So, this time, yung rate na ibinigay, red. Kaso, yung itinatanong ay not red. So, hindi natin yan masasagot ng diretso. So, what we're going to do is to organize the data using a table. So, how do we do that? First, ilista natin yung balls. We have red, and then we have the not red. Okay, yan yung dalawa. Now, sa ilalim yan is the total. Okay, total. Or, in this case, we will have it as base. Yun yung base, total. Now, we'll add two columns more, one for the rate and the other for the percentage. Okay? So, rate, percentage, ito yung base. Ang base natin, horizontal. Ang rate natin, vertical. Ang percentage, vertical. Now, balik tayo dun sa problem natin. Paano natin lalamnan yan? Sabi dyan, a box contains 140 balls. Okay, 140 balls. That means that 140 should go to the base. Pero ano ba yan? Is that rate or sa column ng percentage? Okay? Siyempre, hindi siya dapat sa rate. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman siya percent. And besides, ang rate ng base is always 100%. Okay? Yun ang tatandaan natin. Ang rate para sa base is always 100%. Klaro? Next, percentage, that's 140. So, ilalagay natin yan dito, 140. Next, we have 35%. 35% of which are red. So, red siya, may percent, dito yon 35%. So, this is 35%. Ano yung tinatanong? How many are not red? So, ang tinatanong dyan ay how many. That means percentage, not red. So, ito yung question mark. Okay? Now, for our working equation, for it to work, kailangan natin yung value ng base at saka yung not red. Kasi yung not red ang itinatanong. So, paano natin ngayon isosolve yan? Ibig ba sabihin yan, isosolve natin yon? No, we prioritize. Dahil ang kailangan natin ay not red, tignan natin yung part na to. Ito, tong part na ito, tignan natin. Ano ang kailangan natin to arrive at the question mark? Ang kailangan natin yung not red. How do we look for the not red? Okay, take note. Red plus not red is equal to the base. So that's 35 plus whatever percent should be 100. And what value is that? So that would be 65%. Okay, kasi 35 plus 65 is 100. So kumpleto na yan. We can now have our working equation here. So we'll have P is to B equals R is to 100. Then we just substitute. Ano yung P natin? Question mark. So that's P. Base is 140. Okay, 140. Ang rate natin, hindi yung 35 but yung 65. Kasi yun ang itinatanong is to 100. Okay? Then, kagaya ng mga nauna nating problems, we solve this by getting the product of the means and the product of the extremes, and they should always be equal. So P times 100 is equal to 140 times 65. Okay? And what is 140 times 65? It's 9,100. And that is P times 100. We now solve for P. To do that, we divide each side by 100. So we could cancel out 100, leaving us with P. So P now is 91. Okay? Ano tong 91 na to? 91 balls are not red. Okay? So that is our answer for problem number 5. Let's now move on to our last problem. Okay, our last problem for this video says 42% of a group of people are children, while 29 are adults. How many children are there? Let's prepare our table. This time we'll have the number of children and the number of adults. When we add these two, yung number of children plus adults, it would give us the total, which is the base. Okay, yun ang base natin. And then here, we'll have rate and then percentage. Okay, now let's fill in the table with the given data in the problem. 42% of a group of people are children. So sa children, under rate is 42. So this is 42%. Okay, next. While 29 are adults. So wala siyang percent symbol, that means percentage siya. At ang description ng 29 ay adults. So 29, ito yan, 29 are adults. So that will be under P, adults. 29. Ang itinatanong, how many children are there? So we are asked of the percentage ng children. So, yung sa component ng children natin, kumpleto. Nandoon yung ask. Kaso kailangan natin yung base. So, anong ilalaman uli natin dito? Okay, kagaya nung nauna ng problem number 5, yung base natin, ang rate niya is always 100%. Okay? That's always 100%. Kaso, hindi natin alam kung ilan talaga yung total number ng mga group of people. Okay? Since we are looking for the number of children. Okay? So, medyo mahihirapan tayo. So, ang gagawin natin, una, dahil hindi natin may didiretsong isolve yung children, ang gagamitin natin yung 29. Okay? So, this time, we'll have 2 question marks. Yung isang question mark natin pupunta dun sa base. And dapat ito may laman. Na ano nga sabi natin? Children plus adults is equal to base. So 42% plus this one is equal to 100%. So ano yung value na ilalagay natin dyan? This will be 58%. Okay? Kasi 42 plus 58 is 100%. So for the meantime, ang gagamitin muna natin ay yung para sa adults at saka yung base dun sa ating working equation. Our priority for now is to solve for the base. Okay, we solve for the base. And how do we do that? We use our working equation. P is to B equals R is to 100. Okay? So, gagamitin natin yung adults at saka yung base. So, P, that's 29, is to 58, is to 58, sorry, is to B, and the rate, 58, is to 100. Then, we get the product of the means and the product of the extremes, and they should always be equal. So, B times 58 and 29 times 100. Okay? And 29 times 100 is 2,900. That is equal to B times 58. To solve for B, we need to divide both sides by 58. Okay? So, maka-cancel out yung 58. 58 divided by 58 is 1. Leaving times B is B. Okay? And 2,900 divided by 58 is 50. Okay? 50. So, meron na tayong base. Now, the next thing to do is to solve for the number of children. We solve for the number of children. So, how do we do that? So, dahil ito, meron ng 50, pwede na natin niyang lagyan. 50. Ay, sorry. This is already 50. So, percentage, makukuha na natin yung number ng children. Mag-relation proportion pa ba tayo? Hindi na. Ang alam natin, children, at yan, children plus adults is equal to the base. So, this one, yung unknown, plus 29 is equal to 50. So, to solve for the number of children, it would be, okay, 50 less 29. And 50 less 29 is 21. So, we have 21 children. Yun yung ating sagot. 21 children. How many are children? There are 21 children. So that is how we solve a more complicated problem that has something to do with percent. So I suggest you make a table of values para mas madali. Tapos, as you can see, in all of the 5 problems that we have in this video, iisa lang yung equation, yung working equation natin, which is P is to B equals R is to 100. Hindi tayo nag-change ng percent to decimal, tapos decimal to percent nung nakakuha tayo ng rate. Okay, diretso natin ginagamit dahil meron tayong 100. So I hope you learned something from this video. Please give this a thumbs up and the rest of my videos in my channel. Subscribe and thank you. God bless.